Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Khadijah Dennis.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gabrielle Ahrens. A foreign refugee bill has been proposed to the South Carolina Senate that targets foreign refugees coming to the state and organizations that aid these refugees. Reporter Tim Callowell has the latest in the newsroom.
Thanks, Gabby. Republican State Senator Kevin Bryant, who is co-sponsoring this bill, says his goal is to make South Carolina an unwelcome place for refugees that could be coming from a place where terrorists are welcome. The South Carolina Lutheran Services, who helps aid foreign refugees in South Carolina, disagrees and thinks the bill is biased and unreasonable.
Well, first of all, it is an unfair and in some sense unconstitutional.
This bill would hold refugee-sponsoring organizations in the state, such as the South Carolina Lutheran Services, civilly liable if a foreign refugee hurts anyone or damages property. They say even if the bill is passed, it will not stop them from aiding foreign refugees.
We will continue to serve refugees as they are referred into our program and for our services by the federal government program.
Supporters of the bill cite terrorist attacks like the bombing in Paris as the cause for their concern. But South Carolina Lutheran Services says that the refugees are victims too.
Refugees are being targeted by terrorists. They are victims of terrorism. And that's why they're fleeing their homes. They're leaving everything behind they've ever known to come here to find a refuge and to find safety. They're now coming here to become terrorists.
The South Carolina Lutheran Services say they've helped over 11,000 refugees settle in the state since 1992. The state Senate has scheduled to discuss this foreign refugee bill on Wednesday, and the South Carolina Lutheran Services plans on being there to oppose it. Live from the newsroom, Tim Callowell, Carolina News.
Thanks, Tim. More than 24 people are hospitalized after an Amtrak train derailed in southwest Kansas early this morning. Authorities say 29 people were taken to the hospital, but none have life-threatening injuries. The train was traveling from Los Angeles to Chicago when 7 passenger cars derailed shortly after midnight. The cause of the mishap remains unclear at this point.
Donald Trump's Chicago rally turned violent Friday, forcing the GOP frontrunner to cancel the event. The violent outbreak gave Trump's opponents a chance to go after him and his campaign just days before 5 important primaries are to take place tomorrow. Taylor Hollander examined how Friday's clash in Chicago could have an impact on the upcoming primaries.
Donald Trump's supporters and protesters clashed at the Republican frontrunner's event Friday night, causing the rally to be canceled. Trump quickly came out to say his supporters were not to blame for the violence.
And all of a sudden, a planned attack just came out of nowhere.
Don Fowler, the former chairman of the Democratic National Committee, was in Chicago at the time of the protest but did not see anything. He said people will be quick to blame Trump and his supporters.
I have listened and read carefully accounts, and most people blame Trump's people, but I'm not at all convinced that that's true. I just think there's so much emotion on both sides that one can't tell.
Trump's Republican opponents were quick to criticize the frontrunner.
Donald Trump has created a toxic environment. There is no place for a national leader to prey on the fears of people who live in our great country.
We also have to look at the rhetoric coming from the frontrunner in the presidential campaign. This is a man who in rallies has told his supporters to basically beat up the people who are in the crowd and he'll pay their legal fees.
Fowler predicts the rhetoric is going to change come late spring, but what happened in Chicago, he says, could have an effect on the primaries tomorrow.
I think the principal effect will be that it will drive up turnout, probably on both sides, but more so on Trump's side.
An increase in voter turnout for Trump could be a key factor for tomorrow's 5 primaries and the winner-take-all states of Florida and Ohio. Taylor Hollander, Carolina News.
The violence in Chicago brought about controversy just before tomorrow's big primary day for the Republicans, giving more incentive for the GOP candidates to go after the frontrunner. And looking further into tomorrow, the presidential candidates will be competing for the votes of over 1,000 delegates for the third Super Tuesday. Ohio, Florida, Illinois, North Carolina, and Missouri will be voting in the Democratic and Republican presidential primary. For the Republican candidates, tomorrow's voting presents a chance to stop Donald Trump on his path to the presidential nomination. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton's support among party loyalists will challenge Bernie Sanders' strength to win in diverse states. Super Tuesday 3 will be a crucial night for all candidates in the 2016 presidential race.
Our weather specialist Emily Huff is outside the Thomas Cooper Library. How long can we expect this beautiful weather to be in the Midlands, Emily? Columbia police need your help today finding a man who they say robbed a Waffle House off of Greystone Boulevard this morning. Police say a man entered the Waffle House on Stone Ridge Drive this morning around 4 a.m., armed with a gun and demanding money. While no one was injured in the robbery, police are still looking for the suspect without a description. $1,000 reward is available to anyone whose tips lead to an arrest in this case. If you have any information, Columbia Police ask that you call 1-888-CRIME-SC. Forest Acres Police Department also released surveillance photos from a bank robbery last week. Police are searching for a man that walked into Wells Fargo Bank on Forest Drive with a handgun and demanded money. He is described as black, around 6 feet, between 35 and 45 years old, and weighing 230 pounds. If you have any information about the robbery, contact Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC.
A Woodruff police officer was shot this morning while serving an arrest warrant. According to Chief Alan Bledsoe with the Woodruff Police Department, Sergeant Darrell Dawkins was shot in the arm and taken to the hospital.
Cleaned it up, bandaged it up, and he's already again chomping at the bit wanting to come back to work.
Sergeant Dawkins was serving the warrant to Dennis Ray Alexander and Michael Goggins. Both are wanted for distribution of crack cocaine. Richland County Coroner Gary Watts confirmed a man was electrocuted to death on Friday afternoon. This is now the second electrocution death in less than a week in Richland County. Watts says the man died on Friday while doing pavement work on Shadowwood Drive in Irmo. A power line sent a shock through a dump truck and paver the man was working on Watts is looking for his family. Last Tuesday, another man died also following a work-related electrocution.
The South Carolina DMV is holding Amnesty Week for drivers with suspended licenses. The DMV will either clear or reduce the suspension depending on the driver's application, which can be found on the South Carolina DMV website. However, many South Carolina residents have not yet heard about Amnesty Week.
I'm going to make sure I tell my fellow friends and family this so they can come on down here and fill out this application and get this stuff done.
Suspended drivers have until this Friday, March 18th, to fill out the application.
Hunger is a serious problem in the Midlands. The Salvation Army served over 1,000 meals in the Midlands area last year. Harvest Hope fed 38,000 people a week. Kevin Smarr found a unique way that the Midlands Baptist Association is making sure food banks get the donations they desperately need.
Mondays can be a drag, but being out on the golf course isn't so bad. Normally stuck behind their desk, these players traded in computer screens for golf clubs.
This is our Midland Baptist Association 8th annual golf tournament, and this tournament benefits the homeless and hungry. The proceeds go towards that.
What we tried to do is to have a forum by way that we could raise some money and donate it to the needy, the homeless and the hungry.
Teams from 19 different churches came out to support this charity event, raising almost $6,000.
This tournament is unique because it doesn't just stress the monetary value, it stresses having fun and raising awareness for the homeless and hungry.
Not only do these golfers get a chance to brush up on their strokes, they also get a chance to help out the community.
Spread a little cheer and support the children and support the Baptist Church Association.
This charity is an outreach initiative of the Midlands Baptist Association to assist women, families, and children seeking a hand up and not a hand out. While the MBA had a great year last year.
And last year, we was able to make a contribution to the homeless and hungry, in which we sent the proceeds to Harvest Hope of a gospel mission. It's a worthy cause.
They are already looking forward to next year's tournament.
Having more teams participate, and so we can reach more homeless and hungry people.
Kevin Smarr, Carolina News.
Contributions from last year's charity event were able to feed over 10,000 homeless people. The Midlands Baptist Association will announce this year's contribution on their Facebook page later this month.
Things aren't always what they seem. Find out what you don't know about pollen and your allergies coming up next.